Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review here on my channel where we're going to be continuing on our Bunnahabhain series. And in today's video, we're going to get started into looking into the NAS whiskey, so those no age statements. Now, I've been away for I think it's 2 or 3 weeks, and that's because I had to serve our public duty here in the UK called jury duty. And then straight after that, I've got this really heavy cold, and now it's coming to its last maybe day or so I'm able to actually finally breathe again and taste stuff. So I said, let's get back into reviewing these whiskies. So the Bunnahabhain Stiuireadair, it actually translates over into Scotch Gaelic, and it means the helmsman or helmsman. And if any of you are big fans of Bunnahabhain, I'm probably going to put this up on screen as well so you can see it. The actual logo for Bunnahabhain has the helmsman standing front and center on the actual bottle, so it's kind of to pay a very nice tribute to him. So I'll leave that over here. It is a no age statement whiskey, bottled at 46.3%, and it is matured in first and second fill sherry cask to what I've read. Now the distillery is the Bunna Distillery. They're owned by the parent company, the Distill Group, and they are located on Eirigh, Scotland. Now it's one of my favourite distilleries because when I went to the Bunnahabhain Distillery, I did the warehouse tour, Warehouse 9, and it's just incredible. The whole atmosphere, I don't know, something about Bunnahabhain is very captivating for me personally. So, £38 here in the UK, very nice price point. It's not exclusive as it's joint in the Core range, and it is completely natural colour. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the tasting notes, So getting us started on the nose for the Bunnahabhain Stiuireadair. Straight away you get this nice sweeter, fruity approach on the nose, very nice and completely different actually from the age statements. Sultanas, is that a crow? Wow, it's late at night and I can't hear a crow outside. But yeah, sultanas, fudge, almost like even a toffee or maybe honeyed apple, honey glazed apple, red currants, cranberries. And then there's a sort of like a dunnage, it's like it reminds me when I was in warehouse number 9, that sort of musky, sort of damp shed character, dunnage style, with a little bit of sweetness, the sweeter aromas lingering in the atmosphere around it. And there is this very soft, gentle sea breeze. It's ever so faint, but it is there, and it just reminds me when you actually walk out on the pier at the Bunnahabhain Distillery, and you can just feel that little bit of that salty air around you. That's about it for the nose. Quite a bit going on in this one, but a lot more sweeter characters. Let's get into the palate next. Sláinte. So let's get started now on the actual arrival onto the palate. The texture on this one, very different from the 12. It's not as rich and as full, but you get a nice sort of lighter medium texture on the palate. First things first though, you are front and center with some nice ripe sultanas, and this is fresh sultanas. You're getting a slight bitter, almost a tannic quality coming through as well, as if you've probably bitten a sultana and you've got a little bit of the actual stem connected to it. That little bitter note is just coming through with this one. Then you get a sweeter note, caramel. It actually reminds me of a caramel we get here from Cadbury's, which is a chocolate, and then you've got an inside a nice sort of gooey caramel inside, a caramel core. Then you get this spiced apple character, a faint little bit of white pepper, and it's like spiced apple that's been baked maybe with these cloves, adding this mouth-warming character as it develops and as it carries on through the palate. I'm getting a saltier note, but it doesn't remind me of table salt, but this is more like fresh sea salt. And then those sherry notes are coming through, and it's like you're actually just sat with a glass of sherry, and you've got that residue sort of just sitting on the sides and on the back of the actual palate. It does develop a slight winey approach as well. It actually reminds me of these wine gums, those wine gum sweets. And then there is that sweet vanilla that just really comes off at the back. And it's almost gone very quickly on the palate, which is kind of a shame. But anyway, let's see if we can get to the finish and come to the conclusion on the notes we find on this expression. So now to finish on the Bunnahabhain Stiuireadair, the finish for this one doesn't last as long as I'd like it, but it does have quite nice mouth-warming character. A bit of these wood spices, a bit of cinnamon, even a little dash of nutmeg just holding itself on the end of the palate. I'd say maybe a medium finish on this one. You do get these darker dried fruity characters, a little bit of figs, but it's more or less those spices which really hold this one out, and then a little bit of that salted character coming through, and it's ever so gentle on the end. So time to give you guys my actual opinion and my rating for this one. I'm going to give this one here an 82 out of 100. Reason behind that, this actual expression is very nice, but when I do compare it to the 12-year-old at £5, just £5 a little bit more than this, I find that does a greater job in terms of if I'm spending that extra £5, you know, I know I'm getting a greater whiskey. However, it doesn't take away from the fact, if you've got a little bit more of a sweeter tooth, I think this whiskey would play a much bigger strength to you, as it's got a bit more of these sweeter, fruitier characters. One thing I have noticed though, and I have tried 2 or 3 bottles of this over the last few months, I go for a lot, but one thing I noticed with this expression, there is a lot of variation in the actual batches. So maybe there is inconsistencies. This one's come out a lot more sweet, or I have tried one that's come out a lot more complex. So I think there is batch variances, and that's personally just my opinion from what I've tasted. But I want to know your guys' opinion. So if you have tried this one, let me know what you'd give it as a score in the comment section. But on that note, do I think it's value for money? It's actually really good. It's in a very affordable price range. Doesn't need water. Personally, I would avoid it because it's already quite light. And if you give this any more time, it just gets sweeter. So personally, I'd avoid giving it any more time. I think it's ready, good and go. But 82 is going to be up my score. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you have enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, which I'll leave over there. I'll leave some other Bunnahabhain videos on screen. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you for the next video. Slàinte.